Sorry, sir, I can hop off while you're getting set up.
Take us away, Eric.
All righty. Hello, everybody, and we have a small group here, so maybe we could get an opportunity to meet each other real quick, and we'll get this party started. Cheryl, you want to tell us, where do you work, Cheryl?
With Cheryl.
Yes. Cheryl, what'd you say? Oh, there's two Cheryls. Keeney?
I'm Cheryl Keeney, and I work for WVU CED Positive Behavior Support Program.
Nice to meet you, Cheryl. The other Cheryl?
I'm Cheryl Childs. I work for the CED Pass for Parents and Family to Family program.
Nice. Ashley?
Yes, I work for SW Resources here in Parkersburg, West Virginia as a case manager.
Nice, nice. Sandy? What's up, Dylan? Sandy? You know what? People are starting to come in, so I'm going to get and get started. Let me push my share here and share some of my stuff here. All right. Can everyone see my screen?
Yes.
Yep.
All right. So let me introduce myself a little bit, let you guys know who I am and why I'm doing this. So my name is Eric Murphy. I am the mental health specialist here at the CED. I have been working in mental health for about 20 years. I was a licensed therapist for at least a decade or so. During that time period, I would say from my age of 18 up until now, I've been working in the disability community. I was the director of quality assurance and training at a facility. And I also worked at a different place where a lot of my clientele that came to see me had either a cognitive or developmental disability. My mom was a director of a facility for about 30 years. And she was the adult service person, and she was the person who used to help people to get jobs and also fight discrimination against those people who experienced it because of their ability. So I've been involved in this for a long time, and I've been doing psychotherapy for a little over 20 years now. And what I want to share with you guys today is, so I'm going to tell you why I'm doing this. I've been working in the field for a long time, and one of the things I have found is mental health work is something that we don't do a lot of, as much as I think we do a lot more resourcing for people and supporting them, but we never really kind of fall into finding out who we are and what we bring to the table. And what do I get out of this relationship? What do I get out of helping people other than feeling good? I found this theory a long time ago, and it helps so much to understand. And I'm going to give you an assessment tool so you understand where you fall. And from the very beginning, I think I could go ahead and give you this assessment tool. I talked to Courtney, my colleague here. So let me see if I can put that in the chat real quick. Let's see. Chat. Melanie, you may have to help me with that because I may not know what I'm doing because I have a tendency to not. Let's see. Oh, I got you. So that is successfully put into the chat there. So if you can download that, you will be able to find out exactly what ego state you live in when we do what I'm talking about here. So my first question is regarding your relationship in the disability community. Which one of these are you? You see the people on the tree there. You got some people hanging out by themselves. You got people on their back. You got people coupling up. You got people upset. You got people turning their back from others. You got people hanging out on a limb or even falling off the tree. Which one are you? If anyone would like to go ahead and just shout it out. Don't do it in the chat because, yeah, it'd be better if you just said it. And who are you? So anybody want to go first?
Hi, yeah, I'm Nick Larson. I'm with Positive Behavior Support in Morgantown. Maybe it's just centrifugal focus, but I'd say that one standing by themselves on the platform in the middle, you know.
And why is that?
I'm big into preparedness and like making sure that you have stuff in place. And sometimes to a fault do like the self-sufficiency thing. So that figure I see there is prepared, but they're by themselves. So.
Thank you, Nick. I appreciate it. How about others of you? Don't make me gaslight you and call on people. I don't want to do it. Let me get 2 more people and we'll keep it moving.
I'd be happy to answer, but I'm not
Go
sure
for it,
I'm pulling up the right thing. So,
Which one is you, Jennifer?
Jennifer Forrester. This one right here, where my hand is. Oh, so the best way for you is just like regarding income, but that's what I'm opening.
Let me say that once more, Jennifer. I couldn't. I'm sorry.
What I opened was something that asked me about.
Oh no, I'm talking about the screen. What's on the screen right there?
Oh,
regarding
God. Okay, I was answering the chat. Which one is me?
No worries. Which one is you?
Gee, sometimes I think I'm all of them.
I understand that.
Yeah.
We're going to explore that, Jennifer. Let me get one more person and we're going to go from there. Nobody else?
What is the one doing that it looks like they're on a rope swing? What's that supposed to be?
They're just enjoying it and kind of, I think for interpretation. I want to say they're throwing caution to the wind, but they might kick that guy that's looking up in the air in the head. So I don't know. Which one do you think? Was that you, Melina? Which one do you think is you?
I don't know. That's what I was trying to think.
Mm,
I'd like to think I'm maybe one of the ones hugging, or maybe one of the ones at the the guy at the bottom that's
why-
giving the
why do
other
you
one
think
a
that?
boost.
Why do you think that?
More of a supportive nature,
Gotcha.
helping.
Okay. Okay. And I think in the disability community, one of the things that we tend to find is we find very friendly and helpful personality types. And I think the one thing that we can do in this presentation is talk about what that is. And I'm going to, first of all, share with you our learning goals. So our goals for this today is to provide a theory of communication and analyze the relationships with others, increase participation, the understanding of potential goals of relational interactions, and increase your understanding and explanations of how we continue to replace childhood strategies growing up. So what does this mean? What we're going to talk about is, what do I get out of relationships? What is the transaction that happens between me and others? And why and how is that theme connected to my childhood? The theory that we're going to talk about is called, that a lot of times people call it TA, and it's short for transactional analysis. It's a theory of how people grow in exchange and have personal exchanges. So it's a pretty simple process, but I think that one of the things, and my PowerPoint here that I have for you talks about going to our your assessment next, but I put that in the chat for you guys. And what we can do is we can do that later on, and then you can give comments in your evaluation later on about what you got out of that assessment tool. Now, I'm going to tell you something. I want to warn everyone. I want to warn you. This assessment tool is going to let you know what you got out of relationships. This assessment tool is going to let you know about maybe why you have the consistent same type of relationships with people. Have you ever asked yourself, why do I have that disagreement with my parents still? Have you ever asked yourself, why do I date the same kind of person? Have you ever asked yourself, why is it that I'm always the one that seems to get chosen to have to serve and help others? I think that through this PowerPoint and through this presentation, you'll find out that it is not that everybody always chooses you. It is that you choose yourself to do this. And I'm going to help you understand that today. So the first thing we want to understand is there's 7 ways you can kind of see the world. And I will stop every once in a while and ask you, what are you taking out of this? Or if anybody has any questions. There's 7 ways. So I'm going to give you the first one there in the green at the top is called my nurturing parent. And then I have my rescuing parent right next to it. The CP stands for critical or controlling parent. The A stands for adult. FC stands for fun-free child. And HC stands for hurt child. And DC stands for defensive child. Now, here's what transactional analysis says. Transactional analysis says that there are 7 ways we can see the world. And within us, we have one of those 7 ego states that are talking to each other, that are talking to other people. So that when I'm talking to you, I may be talking to you as a nurturing parent ego state, and maybe trying to talk to your hurt child. So I'm going to explain that a little easier right now, because I feel like I'm going a little bit complicated. So let's go into the meat of this. We explained what they are, the different types: nurturing parent, adult, and then we have the children. Now, here's how this works out. The parent ego states, that is what you receive from your parents. The child ego states, now these are how you can see the world. It's how you reacted to your parents. The adult is our logic. It's the schema. It is the basic building blocks of logic. And our adult can be corrupted by one of these ego states. Now I'm going to talk to you first about the nurturing parents ego state. Now this is going to seem like a bunch of information, right? But when you take this assessment tool that's in the chat, you're going to find out exactly what ego state you live in. And there's some things I'll explain about that because I've done this for quite a few years. And sometimes people get alarmed when they find out. So I'm going to help with that. Oh, and I also use one of my favorite TV shows, The Big Bang Theory. I hope you guys are okay with that. So in my nurturing parent ego state, if I have a high nurturing parent, my whole goal is to be supportive. So what does that mean? You would say to me like, hey man, I want to be a direct care worker. And I would say, I know someone that can help you out. And I really don't care if you say yes or no, that you want my support. I just have a resource and I was willing to share it. My ego is not invested in your success or failure. I simply desire to provide. I appreciate your position and I want to provide a resource. Simple. Now, I also want to share with you that there's ways you can go here that can be extreme or more grounded. Here's my extreme nurturing parent. Can be indecisive, give in to others, overly sensitive, desperate for appreciation, terrified of conflict, depends on, you guys can read these things. Can develop a victim's mentality. Now the center version of the nurturing parent values people, values relationships. Now, this is that aunt that tells you you're going to make a decision. This is that uncle that says you're going to figure it out. And I'm here for you. This is a person who demonstrates a high level of empathy and not a high level of sympathy. Empathy is, you got this. Sympathy is, you're broken and I have to fix you. My next ego state is the rescuing parent ego state. The rescuing parent ego state is a helicopter parent or a lawnmower parent, the one that needs to be a martyr, who says things like this. Nick, you know how much work I had to put into helping people, man? Nick, do you know how bad my day is, bro, helping other people? I take it home and I take it out on my wife, but it's only because I try to help people, Nick. I'm a helper. You know, as I was helping Melina the other day, you know, I did a lot of work for her. I helped her out as much as I could. You know, I didn't get any sleep helping her. Hey, Nick, who was I talking about mostly?
Talking about you mostly.
Bro, my rescuing parent ego is invested in the success or failure of others. My rescuing parent, but now I want to let you know, my rescuing parent's desire is to be helpful, to fix that person, because they think that fixing them is being helpful, because she thinks that they are broken. Does that make sense to you guys? That's my rescuing ego state. And here's the extreme version of this. Now, people wonder, inconsistent with social justice. What does that mean? Does anyone have an idea what that means, be inconsistent with social justice and how it connects with the disability community? Does anyone have an idea? The extreme rescuing parent may be a person who has the vantage point of understanding what it is to help out someone who has cerebral palsy, but not someone who is dealing with Down syndrome. They will prioritize and categorize people, but not even realize they're doing it. Their whole goal is to be helpful. But because the issue of power is in their relationship, that they tend to go in a different direction if they are an extreme rescuing parent. Now, a more centered rescuing parent cares deeply about social responsibility, values, fairness, sees the bigger picture. The extreme version can only see the tree, cannot see the forest. This is the person who comes to the school and talks to the teacher about what the teacher did and doesn't talk to the child about how they handle themselves. Now, my next one is, oh yeah, here we go. My next one is my controlling parent. That's Raj's dad, just in case you guys are wondering.
Very bad, man.
The goal of this person is to prove that they're powerful. This person would say, hey, I know you want to be a direct care worker, but you're not smart enough. If you want to be who I want you to be and how I want you to be, you would do what I tell you to do because I'm looking out for you, because you don't know any better. My controlling parent whole goal is to be helpful, but they set the boundaries, they set the structure, they set the goal. And when we work in the communities that we all work in, if I do that, then I can easily do something about you without you. If I'm the controlling parent, I may not recognize the dignity of risk. You'll say, hey, I want to get out of my wheelchair. And I'll say, you know, you can't. But the reality of it is that person can get out of their wheelchair. They just may not be as mobile as they would like to be. The controlling parent controls things to help people stay safe, but really they don't know how it's being interpreted. Their intention comparatively to how it affects. The extreme version can be a bully, can be arrogant, dominating, offensive, controlling, power-driven. The centered version takes time, determined, strong-willed, self-assured, natural leader, decisive. And then my adult, which, Sheldon is my guy. He's logical. Now, if you're my age, before there was Sheldon, what he's throwing up right there is, I would say that he would be a person who would say live long and prosper, because the Vulcan is the prime example of my adult. My adult is to be logical. And here's what it looks like. An extreme version micromanages, rules must, and I think some of the behaviors of an extreme adult, someone who's extremely illogical, I think a lot of people believe that the Sheldon character has a cognitive disability. In the actuality, in this, I watched a little documentary on this, he does not. But a lot of parents were saying, thank you for showing an example of what my son or daughter does. Historically, it's mostly boys in this diagnosis. And what do you think that diagnosis may be? Or what do you think that people thought Sheldon was mimicking? Does anyone have an idea of what they thought he was mimicking? Nobody?
Asperger's syndrome.
You got it. You got it. But he wasn't. He wasn't at all. He was just exploring someone who has challenges with social cues, challenges with feeling a part of it, and challenges tithing onto social norms. A very centered adult is dependable, thorough, gets things done, level-headed. And we all know that Vulcan in our life. And then you have the fun-free child. The fun-free child, I happen to have that, don't judge me, sees obstacles, hurdles. Said, I think we can do it. Your fun-free child tends to be optimistic. Your fun-free child tends to say, let's have fun doing this hard work. There's no need for us to have anxiety about this. There's only a need to get it done and enjoy it. Our fun-free child can say things that might hurt you, because our fun-free child thinks, why are you letting that hurt you when you know it's the truth? The fun-free child can be perceived as immature, self-absorbed, manipulative. But what I know, more centered fun-free childs are spontaneous, creative. They inspire, they can be muses. They're definitely great communicators and they think outside the box. But I will tell you, when you do this assessment tool, if you find that you have a high fun-free child, you will recognize something. It's not that you are childish. It is you have the childlike verb about how you get things done. And a lot of times, because of the demographic and what we do, a lot of times we won't see the joy of as doing counseling. I was just talking about this with our wonderful organizer, Courtney. One of the challenges you have when you do mental health work with someone who has a cognitive or developmental disability is the ability to slow down your cadence and to support the processing that this individual is doing and finding a fun way to help them process that information. Find a fun way to help them understand that the belief that they're telling themselves may not be true, and help them explore that, utilizing the fun-free child. And I think I'm blurring my line of what I'm supposed to be doing here today because now I'm going into how to do counseling. I'm sorry. I'm going to stop that. And then you have the defensive child. Your defensive child blames other people for their irresponsibility. The defensive child is a person that said, it is your fault that I called you out your name. The defensive child says that when I deal with you, I get frustrated. And when I get frustrated, I say things that are unkind. The defensive child blames you for their irresponsibility or for their lack of control, self-control. I found that picture hilarious. Very observant. Why is the defensive child very observant? Does anyone have an idea why? Nobody? I'll tell you why. The defensive child's very observant because the defensive child is used to making excuses and has to make sure that he cases the room to understand the facts that they are going to deviate from. The defensive child cases rooms. They don't observe rooms. Does that make sense to people? And then my last one is my hurt child. And I use this for a reason. I know that people may think that the person I'm thinking of is a person in the wheelchair. I am not. It's the person who is harassing the guy in the wheelchair, because the person who is hurt people. The goal is to prove that they're not, that I'm powerless, that needs to help prove that I can help people survive, that they're codependent. All these things kind of go into it. And here's an extreme version of it. The comic guy. Needs a great deal of time alone to recharge. Needs a great deal of time alone to recharge. And a lot of times when they're doing that right there, they're creating the drama triangle. And we can talk about that a little bit later. Here's the similarities. The hurt child and the critical parent are let me, before I go further, let me stop for a second. What are you taking out of this and what is this making you aware of? And I'm gonna put my so I can see people. Carrie, how about you? Carrie? Oh, we can't hear you, Carrie. Carrie, we'll come back to you. We'll get your sound to work. How about you, Angela? Ms. Morales?
Guess I'm realizing some of the patterns that I hadn't thought of previously.
Yes, ma'am. And you know, I'm going to keep going with this, but you'll find out what happens is if you grew up the hurt child, you can end up becoming the controlling parent. Right? Because what it is the hurt child is the person who's the 90-pound person who feels powerless, who becomes a bodybuilder. The rescuing parent is the adult version of the defensive child. The defensive child is the kid who said, I don't know. And the parent said, I know you don't know. I'll take care of you. So that child develops the tools to be manipulative and to get things done by utilizing resources by verbalizing and control. The rescuing parent is the person who grows up to know that and repeats it. The fun-free child is the person who had a life that the world was their oyster. And they grow up to foster that in the people around them. That's the similarities. So here's the crazy thing. When you do this assessment, if you find that you have a high controlling parent, you will probably find out that you're married or take care of hurt children, someone who thinks they're hurt, and you reject confident people. The defensive, the rescuing parent, you will find that, I said this to a lot of college students, when you're the rescuing parent, you might catch yourself dating someone who can play Madden better than they can pay a bill. Does that make sense? And you have the fun-free child and nurturing parent. If you have a high nurturing parent, you will find out that you attract everybody in your life, but you're not trying to be everybody's daddy or mama. So you want someone who's equally yoked. And in your jobs, working with people with disabilities, working with people who have dealing with cognitive and developmental disabilities, you will find that the desire to help can end up becoming the desire to control because of ego strength. When we do this ego strength thing, here's how we communicate typically. We do it in a complementary communication. So if I'm in my parent adult, I talk to your parent. If you're in your adult, I'll talk to I like talking to other Vulcans. And I have a high fun-free child. So I might talk to you about Coyote Uglying it. I don't know. But then there's also cross communication where I blatantly try to act like I'm talking to your adult to adult, but really I'm talking to your child because I'm talking down to you in a way to say, logically, you should understand this. So I'm coming off like the critical professor to the ignorant student, but I'm talking to you in a way as if you should understand this. And how does this work for the disability community or where we work? I would tell you a lot of times we take chronological age and we don't look at development. We don't look at how this person has achieved through stages of change. How can I actualize when I'm still trying to figure out how to survive? How can I demonstrate purpose when I've never experienced autonomy? So it allows us to have an opportunity to look at how I'm communicating with people and what am I getting out of it? Because if I'm talking to parent to child to someone, then really what I'm trying to do is control. And then we have ulterior communication. That's where I try to pretend like I am talking adult to adult to you. But really, I'm hitting you with things that I know are going to affect you. I'm hitting you with trauma, maybe. I might say something to you like, well, you should be able to deal with that now, huh? You've done enough training on that. Cerebral palsy shouldn't be that bad. Dealing with that traumatic brain injury, man, you should get over that by now. Because really who I'm trying to talk to is the child in you who feels hurt. But that's about me being in that position of truly being the critical parent and disguising my behavior. So I want to help you guys with something. First of all, I want to ask you, what are you getting out of this? So just know I don't want to gaslight anyone. So I'm going to ask everybody to give me a little bit on the 10-second one of what are you getting out of this? So Nick, because your face is the first one on my screen, I'm going to ask you, what have you taken out of this today in a tidbit, like a jewel of knowledge?
It's again, knowing the kind of the path you've walked or, the path that you've emerged from is it still has relevance in your future in terms of, reconsidering what's maybe guiding you, what you're drawn to, etc.
Thank you very much, Nick. I'm going to call on someone that is not expecting me to call on them. Dr. Cottrell, what are you taking out of this today?
I really enjoyed the complexity of it all. The fact that we could think we are talking in one way and actually doing it in another way that's not as effective or the way we intend to.
Yes, and Dr. Cottrell, I think that really comes down to people looking at their thesaurus. How am I talking and what does that word mean? You know what I mean? So I think a lot of times it's very important for us to be aware of, especially in the demographic we serve. What do I need to use a 5-syllable word to explain the fact that I know you're frustrated? Like, why do I need to use the word hippopotamus? Like, that's not, just in case you were wondering, hippopotamus had 5 syllables. I just use that to make that point. No, but okay. I find myself hilarious. Sandy, how about you? What are you taking out of this for yourself?
Well, I think one thing I think we all can be at different points, all of the some combination of all of that. When you
Yes.
start looking at the extreme and the centered,
Yes.
in the centered part, I think we all can approach, or yeah, we're all made up of a little bit of all of them at different times.
Sandy, and you know what's crazy, Sandy? Here's something else that happens. Because of the developmental stages we're in, like, so I'm an older person now, right? So everybody calls me sir and say I look distinguished now. You know what that means? I could go through grief. I could be in the hurt child right now because I am no longer seen as a young, vibrant guy. Does that make sense? So because of the developmental stage that we're in, luckily I'm in a place of stagnant or gratitude. Hopefully I'll give out. Does that make sense to you? So a lot of times the developmental stage also. Right? How about others? Catherine, how about you? Catherine, you're on your iPhone. That's cool.
I am. Sorry, let me just get unmuted. So I have a background in psychology, so this fascinates me, to be honest. I love just, having the ability to understand, like Dr. Sandy just said, where you come from, and also how that turns you into either the parent, the caregiver, kind of where you progress in life as you're a child, then an adult, and then, I'm a caregiver right now to my elderly parents, and it's a very major role reversal. So it really kind of brings things full circle.
Catherine, you're going to love the assessment tool. Please take it, because you're going to understand some things. It's going to trip you out. And when you need to call and process it with me, you can do that. I got you.
Sounds great. Thanks.
Oh, no worries. So how about anyone else, Radine or Mark or Cortland? Does anyone else have anything they'd like to share what they got out today because I think I'm going a little faster than I wanted to.
Well, it was interesting what you said about being the hurt child, because I was, and then becoming a bodybuilder, which I did when I was in the military for a few years afterwards, but I'm 52 and way out of shape now. But I do have a child with special needs. And you said that kind of personality becomes a controlling person?
Yes, sir.
Later.
Controlling or critical, where you catch yourself becoming the analyzer of facts, the analyzer of standards, where you go, that's not meeting the standard, this is what it's supposed to be. And you catch yourself being more critical than you are being supportive.
Well, I did kind of go into that because I used to be a quality assurance person for the IDD waiver program. It was really rule oriented.
Yes, sir. And Mark, you say that the one thing about the research I was doing before I started doing this this particular presentation was talking about the fact that a lot of the challenges that we end up dealing with is the system versus us. So a lot of times that passion, that energy in that interaction, and how it becomes this, it becomes a critical parent in the hurt child, is because the hurt child is us, and the critical parent a lot of times is how we perceive the system, or how we perceive ourselves comparatively to our disability. So a lot of this comes into play, and I appreciate you. How about you, Charlene? I think Charlene. No?
Hi, I'm trying to unmute there. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can.
Thank you very much, because I have to say I never really saw those similarities back and forth, but without taking the assessment, I'm looking at it as you were talking and I'm taking notes, right? And yes. I thought, as a fun child, at least I thought my childhood was fun, right? And so yes. When they showed the nurturing parent, like, those are my categories, like, yep, it describes me. So it's just kind of funny. I never realized how things kind of go together.
And the greatest thing about this, Charlene, is when you realize what ego state you sit in, like if I sit in the hurt child a lot, right? Then I have to go against the current like a salmon and go, I know that it's me and not this and how I'm interpreting the situation. So I have an opportunity to change this. I know that it is me. And really, if you think about this, Charlene, who's the only person I can control? Me. So
And
this is
that's actually kind of funny that you said that, only because I'm a grandparent now. Okay. And so
talk about it, Charlene.
Yeah. And so all of a sudden, my daughter is saying things like, be that fun grandparent, Well, I said to her the other day, hey, let me tell you something. If he's going to end up getting hurt, you better believe I'm going to say something. Okay. Because they're toddler little boys. They're taking, risks that, you want to try to save them. Right. But, anyway, so then
right. Charlene, you're making me smile on the inside here. I'm going to stop smiling like that because I want to give you guys something else that I think is very helpful. And I think I went way too fast, but I will leave this open for questions. And I have a plethora of information that may be useful and may not be useful. And I think I'm hilarious. So don't ask me for any.
You are really funny. I have to say, I appreciate the Big Bang Theory references. And so I also want you to note that, yes, you are funny. You've made me laugh a couple of times over. So thank you. This has been a great presentation.
That's what's up. Wait, before I go on this next piece, Cortland, I called your name. Cortland, what are you taking out of this?
It's funny. I think what I'm really taking from this, I think the way that which you've sort of laid out these ego states or sort of archetypes, I think it's done so with a pretty tremendous amount of empathy in some ways. I think it'd be very easy to sort of slip into a very critical state, right? To be like, here are all the things that these various ego states are going to do wrong, and sort of approach it from that. But I think what I'm sort of sensing overarchingly in this whole thing is there's this invitation to sort of like be gentle with like these ego states and to be like, okay, this is where I'm at. Maybe, there are things we can adjust here and there. But I think in particular, the way you sort of framed the hurt child slide, there's a little bit of like you come in expecting sort of like one way to lay that out. And I think you lay it out a sort of different way. I think was a clever way to sort of maybe demonstrate like, okay, like there are a lot of places we can be at with these things, and how do we approach it in sort of like
Cortland,
useful.
Stop it, Cortland. You're making me like you way too much. Just stop it right now. And I would tell you, here's an example of this. There's a student that I know, and I'll just keep it there. And they tell me that they are adult. They have adult choices that they can make. They understand friendship. They understand relationships. They understand love. They don't really understand sex, but they definitely understand love. And they need to be treated like an adult. And Santa Claus is real. So I could either go into my critical parent and let this person know, no, or my hurt child and go, oh, or I can stay in my adult and my nurturing parent and fun-free child. And I can say, I know that this person is acquiring information and they're processing this information. And there's certain things that they have not processed as of yet because they've been taught that Santa Claus is real or the Easter Bunny is real. And there will be a part of this where they will have a moment of awareness and find out that that is not true. And I will be there to support them, to help them understand that. And it will be a marathon and not a 100-yard dash. And that's it. That's the difference. People don't understand that doing well, I'm talking about relationships and what I get out of it. So let me stop that. So I want to ask you all, don't tell me who it is. Danielle, I know you want to tell me. And Kara, I know you want to tell me. Megan, please don't tell me. Shelby, I know you want to tell me too. So don't do it. I want you to think of somebody who makes you mad, sad, or frustrated. Now think about your ego state. Well, you don't know your ego state yet, but we'll work when you guys get the assessment tool. I want you to think about somebody who makes you mad, sad, or frustrated. Now I'm gonna give you an example. Don't judge me. I love my mama. I love her. On a 1 to 10, 1 being they suck the life from me, and 10 they're awesome. My mama's a solid 3.7. I said it out loud. She's 3.7. I love her. and her 3.7-ness. But every once in a while, she'll call me and say something bananas. I got a cousin. He's a thief. He'll lie right to your face. He's a solid 1. I want you to think about that person in your life who makes you mad, sad, or frustrated. Now, I gotta get out of this. I gotta stop my share so I can see the chat. Here we go. So, how many of you guys have a 1 in your life? Don't tell me who it is. I just want to just by chat put in there. Yes, I have 1. Yes. Now here, I'm gonna give you another example of a 1. Another example of a 1 is a person who says they're not on drugs and you know they are. You know that they are slurring their words. You know that they are incapable of driving, but you got to play it off because you know that what you're dealing with. So we got a 1. Oh, we got some 1s. Okay. Anybody got a 2 in their life? Anybody got a 3? No 3s. Okay. Okay. I'm the only one. Oh, we got a 3-4-ish. Okay. Shelby. Yep. Mark. Yeah. Okay. Anybody got a 5? Yes. Now I'm going to leave it at a 5 and I'm going to help you from there. Now, here we go. You guys think that those people make you mad, sad, or frustrated. I'm going to tell you something. They don't. It's you. Here's why I say it's you. You want them to be somebody they never been. The majority of your life, they've probably been a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, or a 5, but you've always wanted them to be an 8. What if you had your expectations in line with reality? And you said, when this person comes over, they're going to possibly lie. And you're prepared for that. Who has control then? Who is managing their life? Who is not allowing things outside of them to dictate their mood and who they're going to be? And here's the biggest challenge with all this. If I'm in my hurt child, critical parent, rescuing parent, defensive child, I'm going to always want you to be somebody you've never been because I'm not being me. My mom and I have a wonderful relationship right now because I know every once in a while she's going to call me and say something crazy. I know that when I talk to a student and they tell me that Santa Claus is real, but they should be having an adult relationship with somebody, I can go, I hear you. And let's process that a little bit. It allows me to ground myself in the present moment and realize that there is not a cup half full or cup half empty because there is no cup. I hope this makes sense to you. I got to put back on my share because I think I got excited and I did not go into my share, so I don't know where I'm at here. Let me ask you, what are you taking out of this right now as I fix this? What are you taking out of this? And does anyone have any questions? Nobody? Carrie, Jennifer, Cheryl, Kayla, Sandy, Redine, Megan. I'm going to ask you.
But you know, this is Charlene, Eric, and I have to say, I think this all just makes sense, right? But whoever's put these things in front of you, right? Because as you were saying, you know, who makes you mad and frustrated? You know, I got quite a few people went through my mind, you know what I mean? And all of a sudden, when you're saying that, it is me. It is me. These people who, you know, I'm allowing that to happen. And so I had some neighbors that I'm so grateful they just moved today. Okay. They took last of it all, just pulled down out of here. Okay. But yes, honestly, you know, it's, I worry about the devil you know, the devil you don't, right? So I don't know who might be coming. But the fact that it is, I can't let that neighbor control me or make me upset or anything, because it's beautiful outside. It's beautiful. And my yard, I'm trying to get it together. So I'm not going to worry about no neighbors. I'm going to worry about me.
And Sandy, if you do that, then what are you doing for what are you doing? What are you representing and what are you role modeling for the person that you are supporting, for the person that you are providing? And I say this all the time, Sandy, so I'm going to give this to you because I think it may be helpful. I don't empower anybody, Sandy. Nobody. You know what I do? I provide them with an opportunity to trust me, and then I help them see the capacity for them to be awesome. So by me grounding myself in my present moment and realizing what number I am, I'm a solid 7. And even if you're a 7 or if you're a 2 or a 1, I will be there and develop and demonstrate trust because I am trustworthy. And I have no desire to empower you. I have no desire to have power over you. I have a desire for you to see how awesome you are. And that's what we have to do in the community that we serve. If I empower you, then I'm telling you I got control. But what if I get you to trust me and we develop a healthy relationship and you see how dope you are? Who has control of you? Who are you doing that for? Who's benefiting from that? And as a grandparent taking care of children, what are you showing that generation? Something freaking amazing. And I think in my mind, I almost said a cuss word. In my mind, I did. I didn't though, but in my mind, I thought I was going to. All right, let's keep it going. Radine, Catherine, or Megan, what are you getting out of this? And does anyone have any questions? Thank you, Sandy.
I'm just thinking about the difference between myself and my sister and heir parents and myself and my 2 children, and what different personalities my 2 children are.
Radine, what child are you? The first child or the second child?
I'm the baby. I'm the second.
So Radine, I can share something with you. And next time we do a presentation, I'll share with you about birth order. I'll give it simple and quick, real quick. The first child is considered the hero child. The second child is considered the scapegoat. A lot of times what happens is because the parents don't realize they're doing this, they're comparing the kids. So when the kids are being compared, they no longer want to join each other and collaborate. They want to one up each other in the areas that they perform in. So if one's an athlete, this one's gonna be an academic. If this one's academic, this one's gonna be an athlete. If this one's talkative, this one will be quiet. So and the reason why they do it is so they both win.
That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense.
I got you. And you watch that with your children. Can I offer you a suggestion? Never compare your kids. Don't ever say, why can't you be like Charlie? Don't do it.
Oh, I don't do that. No, I don't do that.
Excellent.
No.
Yeah, because that right there causes sibling rivalry.
And thankfully, they seem like they are very, very close. They're just very different personalities with very unique strengths.
Radine, and that's how and here's the crazy thing, and that is logical. You know what I mean? I think a lot of times we think they should be kind of alike. They don't have to be alike. They don't have to be alike. The thing is to meet that person. I do not tolerate, accept, or include anybody. I appreciate individuals. And when I learn to appreciate you, I see you for who you are. I see the uniqueness of you. When I tolerate you, it's about me. If I accept you, it's about me. If I appreciate you, it's about us. And that's the one thing we want to learn about our relationships. Does anyone else have anything they would like to add or a question they'd like to offer?
I have something just kind of sitting and listening to everyone else talk, but when, number one, now that I know that I am Stuart, I can make that connection. But also looking at hurt child and hearing kind of everything that's been discussed, I think a huge component of that is what experiences kind of cause that mentality of that hurt child.
Yes.
Because mine, I got highest in hurt child in nurturing parent. And I can see both of those aspects, but I think it's because what caused kind of hurt child is something that I hope doesn't get duplicated. And I also have a spouse that I think probably would also be hurt child and is more of the controlling parent. So I think it's a learned balance too.
You got it. You got it. Yeah. And here's the craziest thing. When you know this, Kayla, then you can act on it. When your partner, when that person, that relationship says something that you know is meant to trigger you because they're hurt and they want you to hurt too, you can go, I love you. And that's not going to work today. And they just look at you like you're crazy because you're giving them something different. You're giving them unconditional positive regard because you know who you are and you know who they are. I put my email in there. Thank you, Melanie, for asking me to do that. I put my email in there. And if you're involved in anything dealing with the disability community, or if you utilize the services here at the Center for Excellent Disabilities, I am the mental health specialist here, and I am allowed to schedule appointments with you. And those appointments are free. And if there's, I keep hearing myself going, if there's anything that I can help with, I'd be more than happy. I have found that there's not a lot of theory-driven mental health work, and that's what I do. My theory orientation is Adlerian theory, rational emotive behavioral theory, and transactional analysis. So if there's anything I can do to offer you guys any tools or techniques, I'd be more than happy to. Does anyone else have any more questions or comments they'd like to offer? Angela, I don't know if this will be the same one. It might be, Angela. I might change it up, Angela. I don't know. Where can you find this recording? I think that Melina would have it, and also the homie Melanie would have, Madison would have that. The homie Madison would have that.
Yep, I've got it.
That's when you guys call for the recording, please ask to speak to the homie Madison. She likes it when she's called the homie. I'll put my email in there one more time for you. Does anyone else have any questions? Well, I pride myself at beginning and ending on time, and it is now 2:22. With that being said, I did provide my email address. If anyone would like any help that I can provide them, please contact me. Again, I have been working in the disability community for quite a few years. I'm a theory-driven therapist, and I give technique and theory. I do not give my personal opinion unless you ask for it. So if there's anything I can do for you, please let me know. And with that being said, first of all, I want to say thank you to my homie Madison, but I have to end this the same way I start things. And I don't know if you guys don't know that about me, but I tend to like to do it this way. You know, if I could see people, that would be great. Because you know what I want us to do? I just want us to, can I see? I just want to see your faces. There we go. Danny, thank you for letting me see you. Corbin, hey, hold on, we're gonna get to the part, and it's just a beautiful song. Check the lyrics out.
Good vibration, yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's the positive vibes, and we create